Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. I hope you're ready because we will start right now. And in this first lesson, I thought it would be, or it might be useful to start with the pronunciation of the vowels. Okay, and after that, of course, consonant will come, but it will be in the next lesson. Okay, so let's see now for the vowels, how it goes. So the first one is A. Okay, A. So not really difficult to pronounce for most of you. Second one is repeat, okay. Remember that on this vowel we can put some accents, okay, and then it will affect the way you will pronounce the okay, but if it's like that without any accent and you need to spell it or to pronounce the letter, it's okay, Next one is E, then O, okay, so don't be afraid to put your mouth really round, O, okay, so it's quite deep, O, okay, then U, so this U can be tricky. So from my experience of teaching, I've been noticing that, well, in most of the cases, for American people, it can be quite tricky at the beginning, so you really need to insist on that. It's U, okay? Spanish-speaking persons can have some difficulties as well for that. U, okay? So don't be afraid to pronounce. So really, it's not U, because in most of the cases, that's the mistake people tend to make. They pronounce it like U, okay? Now, in that case, it's really U, so really narrow sound, okay, so don't be afraid to insist on that. And the last one is, well, it's Y, so if you need to spell it, then you say Y, okay? When you pronounce it, it's like E, okay? But the name of the letter is Y, okay? So if we check them again, one more time, this one is A, then comes E, O, U, remember, U, and the last one, Y for the name, okay, but then the pronunciation is E, alright? And in this lesson, we'll discover the pronunciation of the consonants, so les consonnes. Are you ready? So let's start now. Okay, so les consonnes, B, okay, so this one shouldn't be that difficult to produce, B, then comes C, okay, C, D, F, G, okay, so if we want to repeat them one more time, B, C, D, F, G. Okay? Let's see the others. H, J, K, L, M. Okay? One more time. H, J, K, L, M. Okay? And then, of course, it continues. N, P, Q, R. So it's quite important because people tend to think that French people are making this like that really deep and really, well, it will hurt your throat if you try to insist too much on that. And if you listen to me, well, basically it's not that strong. R, R. Okay, so it's quite soft. R, R. The next one is S, S. Okay, so let's see them one more time. N, P, Q, R, S. And the last consonants are T, T, V, V, W, W. Okay, so we've got this double, and then V, W, okay, X, X, and the last one, Z, Z. Okay, so remember to pronounce this D at the end. Z, Z. Okay, so let's see them one more time. T, V, W, X, Z. Discover les accents, so the accents. And normally when we talk about the accents, we tend to insist on the accents which are on the top of the letter E, okay, because they will change the pronunciation of the letter. When you put the accents on the top of O, I, or A, well, nowadays we don't really pronounce the differences, but then E is still affected by that, so you should really first remember the name of the accent, okay, and it's normally like that, okay, and then the sound that you will have to pronounce or to produce when you see it on the top of the okay, because so without any accent, this letter, if you remember, we saw that previously, is pronounced okay, but then when you put this one, so this one is called accent aigu, okay, it goes like that, in that direction, okay, and you will pronounce the letter like A, okay, listen to the difference, without the accent, with the accent, A, okay, without and with A, alright. Second accent that we can work on, it's a little bit the same, but it goes in the other direction. So if you look, it goes like that, okay, and then it's called accent grave, okay, and the sound that you will have to produce is A. So it's really open. I mean, the sound is really open, and normally your mouth should be opened a little bit more than with the accent aigu as well. Okay, so it goes like A. Alright, don't be afraid to insist a little bit on the pronunciation, okay? First, and then you can make it shorter after, of course. A. Alright, so let's compare them. The first one is A, and then the second one is A. Alright, the good news is that the next one, so accent circonflexe, is pronounced like accent grave. Okay, so it's the same pronunciation here, okay, and it's the open one, okay, A, okay, A, alright, so you can see that's just like a little hat that you get to put on the top of A, okay, so let's see one more time the differences. This one, A, okay, and then these two accents, like here, A, open, A, okay. The last one, tréma, well, basically it's quite rare, and the tricky thing is that in some cases you will have to pronounce it like A, okay, like for instance Noël, okay, but then in some cases as well it can be pronounced like A, okay. So my advice would be try to remember the word, and they are really rare, so don't be afraid about that, Okay, so but that let's focus on the three main accents here. Okay, the first one, accent aigu, remember, et, accent grave, et, and the last one, accent circonflexe, et. So we'll focus on les caractères spéciaux, so the special characters that maybe you will have to use if you want to, well, spell your name, or then if you want to give a web address or something like that. So because normally they can be quite useful, and at the really beginning, so it's quite useful to spend a little time on them. Okay, so let's start now. Les caractères spéciaux, the first one. Okay, if you look at it, it's here. Okay, and we called it tiret. Okay, tiret. All right, let's see the second one. Same thing, but it's, you know, a low one, so we call it tiret bas. Tiret bas. Okay, so remember the first one located in the middle is tiret, and the other one here is tiret bas. Okay, let's see the other one. So officially we called it arrobase, okay, but then, well, let's be honest, we can hear many French people or French-speaking people using this at, okay, but then the French, well, of course, at, all right, but officially it should be arrobase, okay, so don't be surprised if someone is using that, or then you can use it as well, because that's the way it should be used. So arrobase, okay, here, so the dot, okay, because it's not always easy to spot here, we call it point, okay, point, all right, so one more time, tiret, tiret bas, arrobase, point, okay, and then it continues a little bit. So if you want to indicate that you've got, well, a double letter, okay, you can say, so in that case it's P, okay, so you say deux, okay, deux, it's two in French, deux, okay, P, deux, P, okay, if it would be another letter, then you would say deux, and then the name of the letter, of course. Then this one here is called apostrophe, okay, apostrophe, apostrophe, okay, and the last one for this lesson, here you can see that in some cases, so we'll see that a bit later, I mean the reason why, but still you can have this little thing beneath the C, okay, and that's what we call cédille, cédille, okay, cédille, cédille, okay, and we'll discover a quite important thing, because it's a verb, and it's the verb être, okay, être means to be, okay, so as in many languages, to be is quite useful, just for a simple reason, you tend to use it quite often, and then we can use it to construct some composed tenses that we'll see a bit later, okay? So let's see how it goes at the present form. Le verbe être, first is je suis, okay? Je, it's the pronom personnel, so it's I, okay? Suis, I am, okay? Je suis, all right? Then second person, tu es, okay? So remember, être is really tricky, especially when it comes to pronunciations, okay? So first one, suis, as you've been noticing, you don't pronounce the final S, okay? And for tu, then you've got this combination of letters, okay? But then basically the sound you will pronounce or you will produce is est, okay? Tu es, all right? Je suis, tu es, okay? So let's see the next one. So you get this il, okay? So it's a capital letter, but then it's I and then L, okay? Il, so it's he, okay? Masculine form, and then elle, she, so feminine form, okay? And this is the verb. So, il est, or then elle est. So you can notice that even if we write them differently, this like that and like that, we pronounce them the same way. And that's usually the difficult thing, you know, with the French language. What you write and what you pronounce can be quite different. Okay, so remember, je suis, tu es, il est, elle est. Okay, so let's see how the next one comes. Here it's nous, okay? Sorry about that. Oops. Nous sommes, okay? Nous sommes, okay? So you don't pronounce the final S here. It doesn't exist. Sommes. Nous sommes, okay? Then the next one is coming. Vous êtes. Same thing here. Notice that final S is not pronounced. Et. Okay? And then in French, we tend to have this liaison. So liaison, it's like a link, okay, that we can make between the words. So in that case, vous is ending with S, and then you tend to make a little link between them. So, vous êtes, it goes like that, vous êtes, okay, vous êtes, alright, so let's see one more time, je suis, tu es, il est, elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, okay, and let's see the last one, il, okay, so you can notice that even if you've got this S at the end, and then here you don't have anything, well, you pronounce them the same way, okay? Il, singular form, il, plural form, okay? Ils sont, final T not pronounced, ils sont, elles sont, okay? Ils sont, elles sont. So let's see it again. Je suis, tu es, il est, elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont, elles sont. Alright? One more thing to notice, because it's quite important. This vous form, okay, can be used for the plural, of course, and then it's the polite form that we use if you meet someone for the first time. Let's say it's someone that you are connected to professionally, or it's, well, someone important, or then, well, in that case, or then you don't know this person, you should use definitely this vous, okay, for the first time. It's the polite form. After that, you can decide whether you want to use this tu form, okay, which is normally quite common in French, but then first, remember that vous is better, okay? Let's see a few examples now. Okay, first, I've been writing this question. So, quelle est votre nationalité? Okay, so here to show you that it's here. Quelle means what, est is, votre, your, so it's according to this vous, okay, so the polite form of your, and then nationalité, okay, so let's repeat the question. Quelle est votre nationalité? Alright, and in French we tend to raise the voice at the end when we've got this little point d'interrogation. If it's a question, don't be afraid to go like yoop and raise a little bit at the end, okay? So, quelle est votre nationalité? Okay, quelle est votre nationalité? So if you want to present or to say where you're from, okay? So we're using this être for that, you know. Je suis, okay, so you get here, it's already. And then you put this français, okay? It's French. Je suis français. Je suis français. Okay? Then another example. Quelle est votre nom de famille. Famille, family, nom, name. So nom de famille, family name, last name if you want. Okay. Quel, it's still what. Okay. In that case, it's written like that. So we will see that in a coming lesson, but just to inform you, that's the masculine form, just because nom is masculine, and here you've got the feminine form because nationalité is feminine. Okay. But then we pronounce them the same way. So, quel est, what is, votre, your, nom de famille, so family name or last name. Okay, it's a question. Quel est votre nom de famille? Okay, so it's not the opera or something that you want to sing. Okay, so just raise a little bit your voice at the end of the question. Okay, so the answer, c'est le François. So it's interesting because you can see that we've got this c'est here, and it doesn't show in the examples that we saw previously, or for the conjugation, just because it's so. Well, basically you could translate it like it is, or this is, or yeah, it is. Okay, c'est le François. Okay, and the last one, quelle est sa profession? Okay, quelle est sa profession? What is, so être, same, sa, so it's her profession, profession. Okay, elle est directrice. Elle est directrice. Okay, so she's a director, and then it's the feminine form here. So the last lesson was introduction of le verb être, okay, and I thought it would be more logical to continue with le verb avoir. So avoir means to have, okay, and for the same reason as to be, okay, it's really useful and really used, so you should definitely know this verb avoir by heart if you want to master French language, okay. So let's see that, the verb avoir, okay. And so we'll see the different forms. So the first one is j'ai. Okay, j'ai. All right. So if you remember correctly, we had this je, personal pronoun, and then when it comes near another vowel like a, for instance, then it tends to disappear. Okay, so just to avoid pronouncing this je ai, because we think that in French it doesn't sound that beautiful, so we tend to take this away, okay, so that you get this sound j'ai, j'ai. Okay, so j apostrophe ai. Remember, when you combine this ai, you get the e sound. Okay, second one, tu as. Okay, as usual in French, final S is not pronounced. Tu as. Tu as. Okay, first one. J'ai. Tu as. Then comes il. So masculine form, he. Okay, il, he. Elle, she. Okay, and then a. So as you can notice, second form as is pronounced a, and this is a. Same pronunciation in both cases. Okay? Then nous avons. Final S not pronounced. Avons. Okay? And then we tend to make this little link, as I said previously in the lesson, for être, you make this link between the two, so nous avons, okay, nous avons, that's it. Next one, same thing, the little liaison, little link between the two, okay, vous avez, alright, and the last one, so same thing, if you can see, you get this final S and final S here, okay? And then you will have to make the little link between the two. Ils ont, ils ont, ils ont, okay? And then feminine form, elles ont, elles ont. Alright, let's see the whole thing one more time. J'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. Okay, so let's see now, just to make it more clear. Remember, so I in French is je, you it's tu, he, il, she, elle, we, nous, you. So as in English, first use for the plural, a group of person, okay, and then second use the polite form for you, one person, okay, vous, il, elle. One last time, je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il, elle. Discover le verbe aller. So the verb aller, aller means to go, so it's really useful because, well, we tend to use it like that, so for the main to go reason quite often, and we use it as also like in many languages for what we call the futur proche, so the near future. I am going to, and then you put a verb at the infinitive. So it is quite used, especially in the oral language. We tend to maybe use it a little bit more than the real future. Okay, so let's see how you conjugate this aller verb. The first form is je vais. Okay, so remember, final S not pronounced here. Je vais. Okay, when you combine this A, I, you get the sound E, really open. Okay, je vais. D'accord? Tu vas. Final S doesn't exist. Tu vas. Tu vas. Okay, then we've got this il, so remember, il, it's for the masculine form, so he, okay, and then elle, she, okay, and then you get the va form. Basically, you pronounce it like for the tu, because you don't pronounce the final S, okay, il va, elle va, okay, je vais, tu vas, il va, elle va. Then, nous, so we, plural form, nous allons, okay, and if you, so final S not pronounced, and then if you are purist, and I'm sure you are, you want to make this beautiful and little liaison, so this little link between the words, so it does mean that you will have to pronounce this z sound, okay, listen to me, nous allons, okay, nous allons, that's it. Same thing here, we'll have this little link between the two, vous allez, and the last one, so remember, here you get this S just to make the difference between the singular and the plural, because when you put the plural form, normally you tend to add S at the end of the words, okay, like here, but then you don't pronounce it, so ils vont, final T not pronounced, ils vont, and then feminine form, elles vont. Alright, let's see everything again. Je vais, tu vas, il va, elle va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. Alright? And then, just few examples, just to show you how useful this aller verb can be, because we tend to use this aller verb when you want to ask if someone is doing fine, okay? So the first question. How do you do in French is comment, so how, comment allez-vous? And then same thing here, little link between the two. Comment allez-vous? Comment allez-vous? Alright, so I've been putting this vous form here for the first example, just to show you that if you meet someone for the first time, then it's better to use this vous. So here, the vous form, so because it's the polite form. Okay, comment allez-vous? Okay, it's a question, so raise a little bit your voice at the end, like, comment allez-vous? Okay, you see, comment allez-vous? Alright, so answer when you want to say, I'm doing fine, okay? Je vais bien, and then you say, merci, thank you. Je vais bien, merci. So now, if you know the person, okay, you get two options. I mean, normally that's the most used one. The first one would be, comment vas-tu? Okay, so in that case, you just switch and you change this you, so polite form, and you change it with this tu form, comment vas-tu? Okay, well, answer can be the same, you know, je vais bien, merci, okay, and the other one, comment ça va? Okay, it would be like impersonal form, okay, so you're not really addressing directly to the person. How is it going? Could be translated like that in English, okay, comment ça va? Okay, you raise a little bit at the end, comment ça va? And then, same thing, you can answer with ça va, merci. Okay, so let's read them. Comment allez-vous? Je vais bien, merci. Comment vas-tu? Je vais bien, merci. Comment ça va? Ça va, merci. We will discover le verbe s'appeler. So, previously we've been seeing 3 verbs. So the first one was être, to be, yeah, and then after that it was avoir, to have, and then in the last or previous lesson it was aller, to go, and I thought it would be useful to introduce this s'appeler verb, because normally that's the verb you tend to use at the right beginning when you want to introduce yourself, because if you say my name is, well, in French we will use this s'appeler verb, okay? It is always tricky and a big challenge for a French teacher to introduce this s'appeler verb at the real beginning, because it belongs to this group of verbs that we call verb pronominaux. So you'll see why, because if you compare it to the others, something is coming there, okay? So if you remember, when we conjugate a verb, first we put the pronom personnel, so the personal pronoun here, so je is like I, okay? And then, so basically the verb appeler means to call, okay? So without this S, okay? Appeler is to call, okay? And then when you had this S here, and then if you transform it like in this form, I call, and this is a pronoun, it's like me, so it's like I call myself, I call me, so it's just the way we've got in French to introduce ourselves, okay? So it's je m'appelle, okay? Je m'appelle, alright? Second form, tu t'appelles, okay? Remember, final S not pronounced, tu t'appelle, okay? Then il s'appelle, il s'appelle, elle s'appelle, elle s'appelle. And then the funny thing for nous or vous, you'll see that, well, basically we repeat, it's just a pronoun, so we call ourselves if you want, okay, but then we put the pronouns before the verb, okay? Nous appelons, and then little link would be perfect, so let's pronounce the whole thing again. Nous appelons, nous appelons, okay, final S doesn't exist. Nous appelons, okay? Then Vous vous appelez. Vous vous appelez. Okay, so you can hear, we put the little link again here. Vous vous appelez. Alright? And the last one. Il s'appelle. Elle s'appelle. Okay, so one thing that you should remember, and probably you did here. Okay, so here for nous and vous, so we've got only one L, like here in the infinitive form. So that's the reason why I've been pronouncing appelons. Okay, and then appeler. Alright, but for je, so if you can spot it here, look, we've got double L here, double L, and then for the plural form, double L. So when you get this a vowel, and then you get a double consonant, and well, they are the same, then it does change the pronunciation of a. You tend to pronounce it like really open. That's the reason why you pronounce it appel, appel, okay? Appel, 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 and appel. Alright? So, as I said, that's the tricky thing with French language. I mean, you write them like here, without S, here with S, and here with E and T, you pronounce them the same way. Je m'appelle, tu t'appelles, il, elle s'appelle, il, elle s'appelle. Okay? Alright. And now, a few examples. Comment vous vous appelez? Okay, so comment vous vous appelez? So when you want to know the name of someone, you know. Comment vous vous appelez? Answer. Je m'appelle Vincent. Et vous? Okay, so I am Vincent. I call myself Vincent if you want. Vincent. Et vous? And you? Okay, so you want to know the name of the person who is asking this question. Okay. The other possibility that you would have, you know. So first you've been starting with comment and then vous vous appelez. Okay, so that's the, well, a common way of asking the question. Alright. Other possibility would be to start with vous vous appelez. Okay, so technically you just take the verb and then you put this comment, how, at the end. Okay, it would be possible as well. Okay, remember to raise your voice. Vous vous appelez comment? Alright. And the last one is the more correct form. Okay, so first you should start with comment, how, and then, as in many languages, you should, well, change a little bit the order of the structure of the sentence. Okay, vous appelez-vous. Okay, that's the real correct way to ask the name of someone, you know. Comment vous appelez-vous? Alright, and then you raise your voice. Comment vous appelez-vous? Alright, so let's repeat them. Comment vous vous appelez? Vous vous appelez comment? Comment vous appelez-vous? We'll discover in this lesson pour se présenter. So if you want to present yourself, okay? So it will be a really short lesson, but still quite useful. Because, well, technically you will have to present yourself at one point when you speak with French people or French-speaking people. Okay, so let's discover how it goes. The first one, well, tend to use this appeler verb, okay. Je m'appelle Vincent Lefrançois, okay. Je m'appelle Vincent Lefrançois. So you use this s'appeler verb. So I did introduce this verb in the previous lesson, so it was leçon H, okay? So if you didn't see this lesson, I definitely invite you to watch it, because I tend to explain the reason why, you know, I've got this, well, there is this je m'appelle form, okay? So je m'appelle Vincent Lefrançois. So that's the first possibility you will have. The other possibility is to use this être, so to be verb. Je suis, I am. Je suis Vincent Lefrançois. Okay, so the first one. Je m'appelle. So basically, s'appeler or je m'appelle, you could translate it directly, but well, it's not really interesting, but still, you know, I call myself, okay? So that's the verb we tend to use when we introduce ourselves. Je m'appelle Vincent Lefrançois, okay? And then the second one, I am, je suis Vincent Lefrançois. And the last option we will have is mon nom, my name, mon nom is Vincent Lefrançois. Okay? First option, je m'appelle Vincent Lefrançois. Second, je suis Vincent Lefrançois. Last one, mon nom est Vincent Lefrançois. Of course, the first one is the most used. Okay, even if the verb is a bit tricky at the beginning, definitely you should work on it, and you should, well, master this s'appeler verb, because that's the one we will use when we introduce ourselves. Okay, we'll discover les articles définis, so definite articles. In English it would be the, okay, but in French, of course, as usual, we've got the difference between the masculine form, the feminine form, and the plural form, okay? And we start with the masculine form, so we've got le, okay? And then, in some cases, this vowel, if it's close to other vowels, so if there is a word after that starting with a vowel, in some case, it will have to disappear, okay? So you will get this L apostrophe, so that's the reason I've been writing it here, okay? But then the main form is le, okay? Then la, feminine form, la, same, for the same reason, you know, you will have this option L apostrophe as well. And then the plural form is les, okay? So whereas in English you get only, there is only this the form, in French we will have the difference between the masculine form, le, the feminine form, la, and then the plural form, les. So, of course, according to the word, you will have to choose the correct article. So, we'll take a few examples here. The first one is chien. Chien is a dog. And in French, chien, like that, it's masculine. So, le chien. So, basically, you just put the article le and then chien. Okay? In that case, second case, ordinateur, well, you can see that it starts with the vowel O, okay? And as I said, you know, and O, they don't get along that well, so you get to take this away, and then you get this l'ordinateur, l'ordinateur. Alright? And third example, so I took on purpose this hôtel, okay, because it starts with H, but remember that in French we don't pronounce H, okay, so basically the first sound of the word is the vowel O, okay, so for the same reason, needs to disappear, l'hôtel, okay, so if we repeat them, le chien, l'ordinateur, and then l'hôtel, okay, feminine form, la famille, okay, so no problem, so family, la famille, okay, then we've got argent, money, argent, same for the same reason, so l'argent, okay, you get to take this away, l'argent, and same thing as previously when what we saw for the masculine part, even if you've got this H, then the first sound you hear is A, okay, so for the same reason you will have to take this A away, and then you get this l'habitation, l'habitation, okay, and then I've been taking, well, basically the example from here, chien, okay, and then I put S at the end, and it's the mark of the plural, okay, so you put les chiens, the dogs, okay, les chiens, and then you take famille, family, okay, just add this final S, and you get the plural form, les familles, okay, remember, chien, singular form, chien, same pronunciation, but you put this S, okay, final S, not pronounced, famille, singular form, famille, plural form, same pronunciation, S, not pronounced. We'll discover les articles indéfinis. So, indefinite articles. So in English there is only one, and it's or un. Okay, and in French we've got always the difference between the masculine form, the feminine form, and the plural form, as we saw in the previous lesson. Remember, for the definite articles, okay, it was the same. Okay, and in this lesson, so article indéfini, well, it's the same. We'll start with the masculine form, and the masculine form goes like that. So when you put these two letters together, it can be quite tricky to pronounce at the beginning. Of course, after that you will master it without any problem and without any doubt, but you've got to pronounce it like un. So it's what we call the nasal, so it goes in your nose, okay? So if you listen to me, you don't hear any N, okay? So it's just a combination of the two. Alright? Okay, so that's the masculine form. Then the feminine article is here, and it's easier because if you have this U-N-E, then you pronounce it une. Okay, masculine, un, feminine form, une. Okay, and then the plural form, de. Alright, here S, you pronounce it like e. Okay, un, une, de. Alright, let's see a few examples now. Okay, here ami means friend. Okay, un ami, and then we tend to make this little link between the two. Un ami. Okay, soleil, sun. Un soleil. Livre, book. Un livre. Voiture, car. Feminine. Une voiture. École, school. Feminine form as well. Une école. Décision. Une décision. Don't ask me to translate this décision. Come on, please. Ami, so I've been taking this now. Look, ami here. So we've got the masculine form and it's the singular. Remember, if you want to put the plural form, then you just add this final S here. Okay, but then technically you pronounce it the same way. So singular form ami, plural form you add this S, but it's ami as well. Okay, in that case you get de, so here de, okay, here, and then there is this little liaison. Remember, it's been introduced in a previous lesson. You put this little link between the word des amis. Okay, I've been taking voiture here, voiture, a car. Okay, just add this S at the end, and then you get the plural form des voitures. Okay, and then I've been taking back this livre, same thing, you just add S at the end, des livres. Okay, let's repeat them one more time. Un, une, des. Un ami, un soleil, un livre, une voiture, une école, une décision, des amis, des voitures, des livres. Discover together l'article interrogatif. So it's really useful, and we'll see that now. So l'article interrogatif, here you get the masculine form, and it's quel. Quel means what. Okay, so that's what you'll use when you want to ask a question with what. Okay, and you get a good example here. So quel est votre nom de famille? What is your, so the polite form of your, nom de famille, family name, last name, okay? Quel est votre nom de famille? What is your last name? Second example, quel est votre prénom? Prénom is first name. What is votre, the polite form for your? Quel est votre prénom? What is your first name? Okay, so you can see now, more in detail, that nom, prénom are masculine words. And that's the reason why, in that case, you get to choose the article here according to the gender of the word it is connected to. Quel masculine form because nom is masculine. Quel, masculine form because prénom is masculine. Okay, let's see now the feminine. And the good news is that, as usual in French, we write the thing differently, but then we can pronounce them the same way. And then the feminine form is written like that, Quellelle, but it's pronounced like the masculine form. Quel at the masculine, quel at the feminine. Okay, so it's basically same pronunciation. Okay, and then here we've got two examples. So for the same reason as previously, we had this nom and then prénom. They were masculine words, so you will have to put this quel form at the masculine. And then here, nationalité and adresse. So nationality, address, are feminine words. So it does mean that you will have to use this article interrogatif, quel, at the feminine form. Quelle est, what is, votre, your, nationalité. What is your nationality? Quelle est votre nationalité? Okay. Quelle est votre adresse? What is your address? Okay. So, let's repeat them. Quel est votre nom de famille? Quel est votre prénom? Quelle est votre nationalité? Quelle est votre adresse? Okay. So, remember one thing for the phonetics, okay, the way to pronounce them. Quel, masculine form here, will be pronounced exactly as the feminine form here. Quel. So, only one sound, okay? And then the second thing that you've got to remember, of course, you can, well, basically record these articles with the word they are connected to. So it does mean that if the word is at the plural form, then you will have to put the plural form. The rule in French, if you remember correctly from the previous lessons we've been doing, is to put this final S at the end of the words to put the plural. Okay, so quel here for the masculine singular will become quel here, masculine plural. Okay, quel here, feminine singular, will become quel with the S, feminine plural. And the good news is that you will pronounce them the same way. Alright, so quel, 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 and quel. Okay, remember that in some cases, of course, you will have to make this little liaison, you know, this little link between the words. So if the word or the verb or whatever is coming after is starting with the vowel, of course you will have to put this little link. But then if you pronounce it, or if you pronounce them just like that, quel, 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 quel. We're going to discover together les jours et les mois. So the days and the month. Okay? Les jours et les mois. So let's see that together. And so we'll start with les jours de la semaine. Okay, semaine is week. Les jours, so you can see that it's the plural form. The days. Les jours of de la semaine. Les jours de la semaine, the days of the week. Okay, so we'll start with the first one. And in France, the week starts with lundi, Monday, lundi, lundi. Okay, remember, UN is pronounced like un, lundi, lundi, lundi. Then mardi, mardi. So you can hear that you don't pronounce it that strongly, this R. Mardi, mardi, okay? You don't need to go too deep like mardi. No, no, no. You don't move your tongue so it doesn't sound like mardi. No, it's really soft. Mardi, mardi, mardi. Okay? The next one is mercredi, mercredi, Wednesday, mercredi, mercredi. Okay? Next one, jeudi. jeudi. Remember, when you combine this U, you get the sound jeudi. Jeudi, so I insist a little bit, so make it softer. Jeudi, jeudi. Then en, nasal, and it's en. So remember, vendredi, 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 vendredi. Okay? Then samedi, samedi, don't insist on the samedi, samedi, alright? And the last one, dimanche, dimanche. You get the sh, and then an, dimanche. Okay, let's see them one more time. Lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi, samedi, dimanche. Normally, in France, we tend to use this le weekend. So if we're talking about the weekend, okay, but then pronounce it the French way, weekend. Le weekend, okay? But then in other French-speaking countries, they tend to use this la fin de semaine, okay? But then in most of the cases, if you talk with French people, it will be le weekend, le weekend. If you want to talk about les mois de l'année, okay, année, year, mois, month, okay, les mois de l'année. So we'll see now the first one. The first one, January, so it looks, well, it looks a bit the same, no? No, wow, no. But anyway, janvier, so that's the way to pronounce it. Janvier, A-N, okay, and then ye, janvier. Then comes février. Okay, remember when you have this accent aigu on the top of then you pronounce it okay? There is a lesson regarding this topic, so don't be afraid, and if you're not sure about that, well, try to practice it. Février, okay? Then mars, okay? So in a way it's an exception because normally final S is not pronounced in French, okay? We've got some exceptions and this one is one of them. So mars, pronounce the final S, mars, okay? Then avril. Nothing really tricky about this month, I mean, for the pronunciation. Avril, okay? Here, be careful because people tend to try to pronounce it, the English way. In French, remember, when you combine this A and then E vowels, you get the sound E. So really open E, okay? And then you pronounce it me. Okay, so don't pronounce E, don't try to pronounce it. No, it's me. So it's not my, it's me. Okay? And then here, well, it's a bit tricky, but still, en goes like okay? And then you get juin. Okay, let's see them one more time. Janvier, février, mars, avril, mai, juin. Okay? Second round. Hop. Juillet. Okay, you get this double L here. Juillet. Don't pronounce this final T, E-T here at the end. Juillet. So it's July. And then here, two options, because, two options are acceptable in French. The first one, you don't pronounce the final T. Ou. Second one, you pronounce it août. Alright, so remember, first option, don't pronounce it ou. Second option, you pronounce it août. Okay? Then, well, it's quite simple normally for English-speaking persons, so then it's quite close to other languages as well. So, septembre, septembre, septembre. Remember this E-M en septembre. You don't insist on the final septembre, septembre. Then, same thing here. Don't insist on the final octobre, octobre, octobre. Novembre, novembre, novembre. Okay, E-M en novembre, novembre. And the last one, décembre, décembre, décembre. Same thing, E-M en décembre. Okay, so let's repeat them. Juillet, remember this, juillet. Août, first option. Août, second option. Septembre, octobre, novembre, décembre. Okay, the little gift. L'hiver, l'hiver, and it means winter. So I've been putting this M here just to tell you that it's masculine. L'hiver, le printemps, le printemps, spring, l'été, l'été, summer. So I forgot to put it, but here I should put M because it's masculine. L'été, l'automne, l'automne. And same thing here, it should be M, automne, masculine, l'automne. Okay, so let's repeat it. L'hiver, le printemps, l'été, l'automne. And then, the last thing for this lesson, if you want to introduce the dates, okay, so if you want to tell what day it is today, so aujourd'hui means today. Aujourd'hui, today. Nous sommes, so we use the verb to be, okay, we are, nous sommes, le 8 juin 2012. Okay, so forget for the 2012, don't be afraid. We'll see that a bit later for the numbers. Okay, aujourd'hui, today, nous sommes, we are, le, you put the article, definite article, okay, and then you put the date here. Okay, you start with the number, the month, and then the year. Okay, or then, second option, aujourd'hui, so it doesn't change, it's here, today, c'est, it is, this is, and then you put the date, le 8 juin 2012. Okay, le masculin et le féminin. So let's see how we will modify some words that are masculine into a feminine form here. Because for instance, we're talking about, well, whether professions or occupations. Here, student, assistant, actor, dancer, baker, and then computer scientist. It looks quite nice in English. Informaticien is nice, but still in English. Computer scientist, it's really interesting. Okay, so the rule in French is to add a at the end of a word to put the feminine form. Okay, so for instance here we've got étudiant, and then we get assistant here. Okay, you just take it back here, étudiant, and then you will add this a at the end without modifying the first part. Okay, so it will of course change a little bit the pronunciation, because you will pronounce it at the masculine form. Il est étudiant. Okay, A-N-T, étudiant. Okay, but then for the feminine form, elle est étudiante. Okay, t. Okay, you don't really insist on the E, but you insist quite much on the T. Elle est étudiante. Il est assistant. So don't pronounce the final T here. But for the feminine form, elle est assistante. Okay? Étudiant, étudiante. Assistant, assistante. Alright? Then we've got now the tricky ones. Il est acteur. Okay, so it's one of the irregular ones. EUR here, acteur, and it will become RIS. So EUR is becoming RIS. Elle est actrice. So acteur is becoming actrice. Okay, and then we've got a second group with this EUR combination. Il est danseur. EUR is becoming euse. Danseuse. Okay, danseur masculine, danseuse feminine form. Il est danseur. Elle est danseuse. Okay, then we've got this group like boulanger, boulanger, ER. So if you add this final E at the end, then you will have to put this accent here, accent grave. Remember, when you get this E plus this accent grave, you pronounce it like E, really open E sound. Okay, so boulanger, boulanger, and then feminine form, boulangère, boulangère. Same thing, don't insist too much on the final E, boulangère. Okay, il est boulanger, elle est boulangère. Alright? And the last group is IEN, informaticien, yen. So that's the way to pronounce this IEN, yen. Okay? Informaticien. Alright? And then, if you look carefully, then here, okay, you will have to double the N and then add this final E. Okay? And you get the sound informaticienne. Sienne. Remember, E and then double N, or then it could be double L or double consonant here. You open your E, so it's E. Informaticienne. Okay, so I tend to insist a little bit, okay, don't worry, I will pronounce it a bit more normally after. Il est informaticien, elle est informaticienne. Okay, so let's see them one more time. Il est étudiant, elle est étudiante. Il est assistant, elle est assistante. Il est acteur, elle est actrice. Il est danseur, elle est danseuse. Il est boulanger, elle est boulangère. Il est informaticien, elle est informaticienne. We'll work on the vowels, les voyelles, in this lesson, and then we'll see how they behave when we combine them with another letter. So the vowels that we will work on, we won't take this Y vowel on purpose, okay? So we'll focus only on A, E, I, O, U. Okay, so remember, one more time. A, E, I, O, U. Okay, remember, this U is usually can be quite tricky for English-speaking persons, especially the difference between the U and the U. Okay, but we'll see that a bit later. So if you combine this vowel A with the vowel I, okay, you will get the sound E. So really open E. Okay, and then if you combine it with the vowel U, then you will get the sound O. O. Alright, so, well, exactly the same sound as this O vowel here. So it's the same O. Okay? And then if you combine it with the letter N, in that case, you will get what we call a nasal. So it goes in your nose, and then you get the sound Okay, if you listen carefully, well, basically you don't listen, or you don't hear, sorry, any N in my pronunciation. Okay, let's see what happens with So combined with the vowel E will give you the sound E. So the same sound as we had previously here. Okay, so it's the same sound, and it's E, so really open. And now if you combine it with the U, you will get the sound And if you combine it with N, then you get the sound So the same sound as we had when we combine N with A, okay? Alright, so let's see now for E. So for E, obviously, if you get two times the same letter, then it will be a bit longer, so E. Okay, same thing for U, it doesn't really happen. And then here, that's the interesting one. If you combine E with N, then you will get the sound okay, in your nose, Alright, so let's see O now. If you combine O and E, you will get the sound wa. So make it, repeat it like that, wa. And then after that, only one, wa. Okay? Then if you combine it with U, you will get the sound oo. So as I said previously, the difficulty, one of the big difficulty for English speaking persons is this difference between the oo here and the u here. Ooh. Okay, so you'll have the time to work on that, but still it's ooh in that case. If you combine it with N, then you will get the sound Same thing, nasal, so in your nose. Alright, let's see the last one. So if you combine U and E, you get the sound oui. Alright, so really U, it's not ooh, okay, so it's U, alright, and then, well, basically it doesn't exist, this UO, and if you combine it with the N, then you get the sound So before, we had the difference between this here and this here, but nowadays in France, at least, you don't make any difference between the two, okay, so it's here and here. Alright, so let's see them one more time. A, E, O, E, 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 I, O, wa, ou, on, u, lui, un. Oh, we'll discover les chiffres in this lesson. I hope you're ready because it's starting right now. Les chiffres. 0, 0. Okay, so remember, you get this Z and then E accent aigu, zéro. Okay, then 1. Alright, so when you combine this U and N, you get the nasal sound 1. 2. Final X not pronounced, okay? 2. 3. Final S not pronounced. 3. 4. 4. Okay? So remember that even if you get this U vowel here, basically you don't pronounce it, because that's the rule in French. When we get this Q letter and then a vowel after, then we will have to put this U. Okay, so you get this Q, U, A, but then the sound that you will pronounce is K. Okay, 4. Alright, and next, 5. And be careful here, because even if it's ending with this X, well, you'll have to pronounce it like S. Okay, so you get the 6 pronunciation. 6. Okay, so it's not 6, it's 6. Alright, then here, remember, P is not pronounced, okay, doesn't exist, so you get this set sound, set, set, okay? And here, final T is pronounced, so huit, huit. Remember in French, this H letter here, okay, doesn't exist phonetically, so we don't really pronounce it, okay? So if you listen carefully, you will only listen or hear these vowels at the beginning of the word. Huit, huit, okay? And then neuf, 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 okay? And we'll discover a quite useful thing, because in leçon B, if you remember carefully, I did introduce the numbers till 9, and then we'll continue, so from 10 to 20, okay? De 10 à 20, okay? So let's start now. 10, okay? So remember, final X here is pronounced like S, 10, 10, okay? Then 11, 11, okay? So O plus N give you the sound on, 11, 11, okay? Final E doesn't exist phonetically, 11, okay? 12, 12, O, U, the two together will give you the sound OO, okay? And then Z, 12, 12, alright? Then now if you combine this E and E, you get the sound E, really open, 13, 13, final E, as usual, not pronounced, 13, 13, okay? And here, 14, so remember Q and U here, well, basically you get to put this U vowel, because that's the rule in French, even if you don't pronounce it, okay? So you will get the sound K here, K, 14, 14, okay? Same thing here, U doesn't exist, so 15, 15, 15, alright? IN, nasal, so it's 1, 1, 15, 15, okay? Then it continues, of course. Now you get this 16, 16, same thing, final E doesn't exist, 16, E and E together, they give you the sound E, really open, 16, 16, okay? Then it becomes logical now, because if you look carefully, you get this 10, okay, this, and then set. So if you remember this, it's here, it's 10, and then set, 7, okay, so it's clear. But then for the pronunciation, 17, okay, so you don't insist on the S, 17, 17, 17, okay, then 18, so you'll make this little link between the two, the liaison, 18, 18, 18, okay, then 19, 19, 19, okay, E-U-E, 9, 9, 9, 19. And the last one, so this G letter is here, but you don't pronounce it, okay, and then final T doesn't exist phonetically either, so basically you will only need to pronounce these 3 letters, so you get V, V, and then you get nasal, I-N, 1, 20, 20, 20, okay? Hi everyone, bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent, and this is Unité 2, Leçon D. So let's see what we'll discover together in this lesson, and we'll work on les adjectifs possessifs, so really useful. Well, in French, as usual, we will have the difference between masculine form. So for the masculine form, we'll have mon, mon, ton, ton, son, son, notre, notre, votre, votre, leur, leur, Okay, so let's be clear, you know, when we talk about les adjectifs possessifs, in English it will be my, your, his, our, your, their. Okay, but then in French, well, basically we'll have the difference between the masculine, the feminine, and the plural. And then keep in mind, we'll see that a bit later when I will give you some examples, that in French we don't decide whether it's masculine, feminine, or plural according to the subject, like in English, because in English you put whether the masculine or the feminine according to the subject, but we will in French put the masculine according to, or the feminine or the plural, according to the word it is connected to. Okay, so it's quite important to just remember that, because it will be really important for the decision whether you put the masculine or the feminine or the plural form. Okay, so we saw first now here the masculine form. Let's check the feminine form, and it's ma, ta, sa. Okay, so you can see it, well, of course differences, but then still, you know, it works like M, T, and then T, and S. Okay, so, well, mon, masculine, ma, feminine form, ton, masculine form, ta, feminine form, son, masculine form, sa, feminine form. And then the good news is that notre is the same, votre is the same, and then leur is the same. Okay, so you don't really have a difference between these three persons. You will have to use the same adjective possessive. Okay, so the only difference is there, mon, ton, son, ma, ta, sa. Okay, and now let's see the plural part here. Okay, so for the phonetical or pronunciation aspect of it, then remember that this es here combined will give you the sound eh. Okay, so you'll pronounce it like me, me, me. Okay, te, so logical, same pronunciation here, te, se. Alright, so me, te, se. Okay, and then for the plural, no, vos, and then leur. Okay, so remember, even if you've got this final S, you don't pronounce it, as it was the case already for this word, no, you don't pronounce the final S, vos, you don't pronounce it, leur. Okay, so if we say that one more time, it's me, te, se, and then no, vos, leur. Okay, so let's see a few examples now. So for the masculine, mon père. Okay, so père means father. Okay, so father is masculine, and so you will put mon père, so you will put here the masculine adjective possessive, my father, just because father is masculine. Okay, so the subject, the person who is actually talking about his father or her father, doesn't really affect the fact that you use the masculine or the feminine here. You put the masculine because father is masculine. Okay, so vélo, bicycle. If you want to say my bicycle, you will say mon vélo. Okay, just because vélo is masculine. Un vélo, and then mon vélo. Alright, let's see now a few or two examples for the feminine. Mother. Mother is feminine, and then you will have ma mère. Ma mère, my mother, ma mère. Okay, here you get voiture. Voiture means car, a car. Okay, and it's feminine, so une voiture. Same thing here, you will put the feminine form, ma voiture. Ma voiture. Okay, and let's see now for the plural. So parents, parents, mes parents. Okay, because it's the plural form here. Okay, so you get the plural form here as well. Mes parents. Okay, and then amis, friends. Okay, it's the plural form, so it's mes amis, okay? And then let's be purist and make this beautiful liaison between these two words. Mes amis, mes amis, mes amis. Alright? So, I hope it's clear. Because, of course, as usual in French, we've got some exceptions. And the exceptions are for the feminine words. Like identité, for instance. Identité, so it does mean identity, okay? If you look carefully at this word, you can notice that it is starting with a vowel. So, I in that case, okay? And then for aesthetical reasons, we think that ma identité, so the way that normally you should put the feminine form, so ma identité, doesn't sound nice. So for that reason, we put the masculine adjective possessive. So remember, with the words, feminine words that start with a vowel like I here, identité, you will have to use les adjectifs possessifs masculins, so the masculine form. So it goes like mon identité, so my identity, mon identité. Okay, another example, adresse, so same thing here, adresse is a feminine word, but then it starts with a, okay, same thing, you will have to use adjectif possessif masculin. Mon adresse, my address, mon adresse, okay, you can hear now this little link, so you get to pronounce this N, mon adresse, okay, and the last one I took, same thing, opposition, well, basically feminine, but then it starts with the O, mon opposition, you make this link, huh? Mon opposition, so let's repeat it one more time, mon identité, mon adresse, mon opposition. Okay, I hope everything was okay with you. So it was leçon D. Okay, so remember to check for the next lesson and the previous lessons. They're here, and then you get, of course, more material at the following website, www.imagier.net. Okay, bye-bye. Work on les pronoms toniques. So they're useful, and normally we tend to introduce them quite fast in French because you will have to use them. Les pronoms toniques. So if you remember, we saw les pronoms personnels like je, I, tu, you, etc. Okay, but then in that case, when you want to use this pronom tonique, normally you want to insist, okay, and then you want to use this moi form, so moi is me. So that's the main difference between moi, me, and then je, I, because je, normally you will use that to construct a sentence as a subject, okay. Normally this moi is not a subject, so it's not possible to put that right before a verb. It would be a mistake, okay. Moi, so it's me, moi. So remember, this O-E combination gives you the sound wa, moi, okay. And then you get toi. For the masculine form, we get lui, okay, and for the feminine form, we've got elle. So you can notice that, well, basically for the masculine, it does change because pronom personnel is il, okay, and in that case, pronom tonique is lui, alright, but then for the feminine form, it's the same, so it's elle, okay, and then, good news, same thing for the plural, nous, vous, okay, so they don't change. You get nous, and then you get vous, as for the pronom personnel. And same thing here for the plural form, third person of the plural. So the masculine form will change, and you get the sound remember, final X not pronounced, and then plural elle, elle. Okay, so let's see them one more time. Moi, toi, lui, elle, nous, vous, eux, elle. Okay, so I did prepare a few examples. So the first one, moi, j'aime le tennis. Okay, so here you can see that you start the sentence with moi. Okay, so me. Okay, and then you have to put pronom personnel, je. Okay, so in that case you take the away because the verb is starting with a vowel. Okay, but then j'aime. So this j'aime form, I like, or then I love. Okay, le tennis. Moi, j'aime le tennis. So basically, if you start with moi here, you want to insist on the fact that you really like or you really love tennis. Okay, let's see the second example. Toi, tu préfères le golf. Okay, préférer, to prefer, obviously. Okay, toi, tu préfères le golf. Toi, tu préfères le golf. Okay, and then here, so we've got here the masculine form, and here we've got the feminine form. So let's see the masculine form first. Lui, il adore le foot. Lui, il adore le foot. Okay, so here, lui, pronom tonique, and then il, pronom personnel, adorer, to adore, le foot. We're talking about football here, okay? Elle déteste, détester means to hate, okay? Le basket, and we're talking about basketball here. Basket, okay? Elle déteste le basket, okay? So even if you see them twice, I mean, you've got this elle, okay? Then remember that in that case, basically you want to insist, really, so you put first pronom tonique. It does look the same as pronom personnel here, but still, you get two different pronouns here. Pronom tonique and then pronom personnel. Elle déteste le basket. Okay? Same thing here. Nous aimons bien la boxe. Okay? So the difference between aimer here, like I love, okay, and aimer bien, normally when you put this bien after aimer, well, it's because you want to insist on the fact that you like, you don't love something, you like it, okay? Nous aimons bien la boxe. Alright? Next example. Vous détestez la natation. Vous détestez la natation. Natation is coming from nager to swim, okay? And then natation is the substantive form. Vous détestez la natation. And then the two last examples. So first the masculine here, and then the feminine here. So let's see the masculine form. Eux, so if you remember, it was eux, pronom tonique. Ils préfèrent, so préférer, to prefer, and then you can see that it's here, the plural form. Ils préfèrent la marche. La marche is coming from the verb marcher to walk, okay? La marche. Eux, ils préfèrent la marche. And then the feminine example. Elles adorent le jogging. Elles adorent le jogging. Okay, let's read them one more time. Moi, j'aime le tennis. Toi, tu préfères le golf. Lui, il adore le foot. Elle déteste le basket. Nous aimons bien la boxe. Vous détestez la natation. Eux, ils préfèrent la marche. Elles adorent le jogging. Work on the questions, so les questions, and especially the little words that you will have to use or to put at the beginning of your questions. And the first example that we can see is quand. Quand means when, okay? So let's see two examples. So if you start a question with quand, like in the first example here, quand arrivez-vous, okay? Arriver is to arrive, okay? So vous, second person of the plural, you can use that for a group of person, or then you can use that for one person, and that's the polite way to use. Quand arrivez-vous? And now you can see that we've been changing the order. So normally, of course, the subject is before the verb, okay? But then the correct way to make a question, if you start with this quand, is to change the order. So first you put the verb, then you put this pronom personnel, okay? Quand arrivez-vous? Alright? And then the rule is like in French, you get to raise a little bit your voice at the end of a question. Quand arrivez-vous? Quand arrivez-vous? Okay? Make this little link between the two. Quand arrivez-vous? Quand arrivez-vous? Alright? And then, well, when we talk, then we normally have this option to drop this rule. So not to use this rule, so just to put the first, the verb, and then the subject after. And we tend to add this est-ce que form here, est-ce que, okay? So, and you'll get this question. So, quand est-ce que vous arrivez? It is exactly the same question, okay? It is quite long if you compare it to the first one. It is more spoken, okay? It is less formal, and that's normally what you'll hear if you talk with French people. Quand est-ce que vous arrivez? Quand est-ce que vous arrivez? Okay, and then here you see that because you've been using this est-ce que form, then you keep the normal order. So first the subject, vous, and then the verb, okay? Quand est-ce que vous arrivez? Alright, and then don't be afraid to raise your voice a little bit at the end. Quand est-ce que vous arrivez? Quand est-ce que vous arrivez? You see? So it's not really the opera. You don't need to go really high, you know, but it's just a little bit. Quand est-ce que vous arrivez? That's it. And the next one is où. Où means where. Where. Okay, so quand, when, remember? Où, where. Two examples. Same rule, okay, so the formal or the classic way, if you want to ask a question with où, would be to change the order. So first the verb, then the subject here. Où habitez-vous? Où habitez-vous? Where do you live? Habiter is to live. So you live like if you're talking about the place where you are living, okay? Où habitez-vous? Où habitez-vous? And then same possibility, you just add this est-ce que, and then you keep the normal order of the sentence, so subject and verb. Où est-ce que vous habitez? Où est-ce que vous habitez? Alright. Next. Pourquoi? Pourquoi is very useful because it's why. Okay, so remember, quand, when, où, where, pourquoi, why. Same thing here, okay, pourquoi, you should change the order. Okay, so first the verb and then the subject. That's the correct or formal or classic way of asking a question. Pourquoi venez-vous? Venir is to come. So why do you come? Pourquoi venez-vous? Pourquoi venez-vous? Alright? Same rule here. If you want to add this est-ce que, then you just keep the classic order like subject and verb. Pourquoi est-ce que vous venez? Pourquoi est-ce que vous venez? Okay. And then, comment is how. How. Comment venez-vous? How do you come? Comment venez-vous? Comment venez-vous? Comment est-ce que vous venez? Comment est-ce que vous venez? And then the last one. Combien? How much, how many? So in French we use this combien, how much or how many. Combien de sucre Sucre means sugar. And then voulez-vous, okay, vouloir, to want, okay. So how many sugar do you want? Combien de sucre voulez-vous? Combien de sucre voulez-vous? Combien de sucre voulez-vous? And then same thing here, just add this est-ce que. Combien de sucre est-ce que vous voulez? Combien de sucre est-ce que vous voulez? Alright, discover together le verbe faire, so the verb to do. Okay, so faire is really useful because we tend to use it quite much in French. Okay, so it's, well, usually quite important to discover this verb at the right beginning. So le verbe faire. Je fais. Je fais. Remember, final S not pronounced. Je fais. Tu fais. Same rule here, final S not pronounced. Tu fais. Il, masculin, and then elle, féminin, fait. Final T not pronounced. Il, elle, fait. So if we take 1 second, actually you can see that here, here, and here, you get the same phonetical form. So the same form that you will pronounce. Okay, so you get je fais, tu fais, il fait, and then elle fait. It's the same. Okay? Then nous. So it's quite strange because French people tend to pronounce faisons. Okay? So like here, this AE is not pronounced like normally we should pronounce it like E, but then like okay? Nous faisons. Nous faisons. Okay? And then this one is a bit tricky, so you will have to remember that. And it's quite funny because many French people tend to make the mistake and tend to say vous faisiez, okay? But then no. It's vous faites. Vous faites. Okay, so remember, final S here is not pronounced, and then this is not pronounced either. So faites, faites. Vous faites. And ils, plural, font, final T not pronounced, font, elles font. Okay, so I will repeat the whole thing one more time. Je fais, tu fais, il fait, elle fait, nous faisons, vous faites, ils font, elles font. We'll discover la forme négative. So if you want to say that you are not blah 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 doing something, or so the negative form in French. And so the negative form in French is composed of 2 elements. The first one is ne, and then you get your verb, and right after your verb you will have to put this pas. Okay, so first ne, then the verb, and after that, pas. Okay, we write it P-A-S, okay, but as usual, final S is not pronounced, so it's pas. Okay, remember one thing, in some cases, we will have verbs starting whether with a vowel, or then with H, plus a vowel, and in French, H is not pronounced, okay, so for these verbs, will have to disappear, and it will be written like that. N. Okay, then will come the verb, and after that, doesn't change, it will be pas. Alright, so let's see a few examples now. So for ne pas, so if you get a sentence like il parle avec moi. So il parle, he is talking, avec, with, moi, me. Okay, remember this moi? We introduced that in this unit, and it was a pronom tonique. Okay, il parle avec moi. So if you want to put the negative form of this sentence, so remember, first part ne, so before the verb, then you put your verb parle. Basically, you don't change it, just put it there, parle, and after that you put the second part pas. Okay, then you get the sentence il ne parle pas avec moi, and that's it. you've got your negative sentence here. Okay? Let's see now how it will go with N apostrophe pas. Okay? So, nous allons en France. Okay, so in that case, if you look, you've got the verb aller. Aller means to go. Okay? Nous allons, we are going. Okay? En France, to France. Here, first letter is A. Okay, remember the rule. If it's not with a vowel, like here it is the case, you will have to drop and take away this E form. So that's the reason why we've got this N apostrophe like that. N'allons. Nous n'allons. And then you don't really need to think. You just put this pas after the verb en France. Nous n'allons pas en France. Nous n'allons pas en France. And that's it. Okay, second example here. It's with the verb habiter. Habiter is to live. You know, when you introduce the place where you live. Okay, and then here I took this example or this verb just because, of course, it's starting with H, but as I said, you don't pronounce it. So the first sound you hear here is the vowel, and that's enough just to drop and to take away this E. So you will basically make it like in this example. You will put this N apostrophe. Elle n'habite pas dans cette maison. So, elle habite, she lives or she is living, in this house. Elle habite dans cette maison, and then negative form. Elle n'habite pas dans cette maison. This lesson will work on les adjectifs démonstratifs. So les adjectifs démonstratifs, in English it would be this or these, okay? But then as usual in French, we've got the difference between the masculine, the feminine, and the plural, okay? So we'll see that. So for the masculine form, it will be ce, and then it will be cette, okay? So as usual in French, remember, it can be tricky if a letter, an adjective like that, for instance, is ending, or it could be an article, is ending with a, okay? Just because for some words starting with a vowel or with H plus a vowel, then we will have to modify it, okay? And that's the reason why here we've got set, okay? But then it's still the masculine form, ce, set. For the feminine, it will be set, so only one, set. And then for the plural form, it will be c'est. Okay, so let's see that again. Ce, or then set, féminin set. So you can notice that phonetically these two are pronounced the same way. Okay, set here and then set here. And for the plural, c'est. Really open this c'est. Okay, so let's see a few examples now. The first one, so I did take this train. Train is train, okay, so it's masculine, so it starts with T, so no problem. You will put this ce train, okay? It would be translated like this train, ce train, okay? Here you've got ordinateur. So ordinateur, a computer, okay, and it's masculine, un ordinateur, okay, but if you look carefully, it starts with O, okay, so vowel, and then you will have to take this set form, so the masculine form, but the one that we'll use with the words that start with vowels, or then H plus voyelle, okay, so cet ordinateur, this computer, cet ordinateur, okay, and then here we've got the word homme, man, okay, but then it starts with H, as in French, H is not pronounced, so the first sound that we hear is O, okay, and then it will follow the same rule. You'll have to use the masculine adjective démonstratif, but this form, cet homme, alright, femme, woman, cette femme, this woman, cette femme, cette femme. Okay, and then the last one, personne, persons, pluriel, ces personnes, ces personnes. Okay, so let's repeat them one more time. Ce train, cet ordinateur, cet homme, cette femme, ces personnes. In this lesson, and we'll work on the way to conjugate les verbes réguliers, so the regular verbs of the first group, okay, and then with er, so let's start now. So let's take an example. The example is parler. Parler is to speak or to talk, okay, and then if you have a look at it like that, you can basically divide this verb in two parts. The first part, parle, and then second part, er. So it does mean that this verb ending with er is belonging to the first group of verbs. In French, we've got three groups, okay? The two first are regular, and the last one, the third one, is irregular. So this is one verb ending with er. It does mean that it belongs to the first group, and it won't be tricky or so difficult to conjugate. So we'll see together how to conjugate this verb. The first person, like je here, so you will put this parle again, so remember, and after that you just put the ending e. And then the way to pronounce it is je parle, parle. So remember, we put it, okay, but then we don't really pronounce it. Je parle, okay? And for tu, you will have to put es, okay? Phonetically, tu parles. So you've got the two first forms, you pronounce them the same way. You write them differently, of course, because you get here, and then you've got and s, okay, but then phonetically, they are the same. Je parle, tu parles, okay? So let's see what you'll get for il and elle, and, well, as you see, you get il parle, elle parle. So it's the same form here. So if you really want to only speak and only use orally the language, well, it's quite easy to conjugate these verbs. Je parle, tu parles, il parle, elle parle. Okay? For nous, okay, we'll have, well, let's say the classical ending for nous, and it will be ons. Classical, because you will see that with the other groups as well, it's quite common to have this ons for nous, okay? Nous parlons, okay? Remember, final s is not pronounced, okay? And then this on together, they will give you the sound on, okay? Nous parlons, all right? Let's see now for vous parlez, okay? Remember, z, when you combine them together, you get the sound e. Vous parlez, all right? And the last one, so even if you've got this ent, don't hate me, but you won't pronounce these letters, okay? You have to write them for the plural form, but you don't pronounce them, so you get il parle, elle parle. So the good news is that you get here, je parle, tu parles, il, elle parle, and then if you check it here, il, elle parle. So it's the same phonetical pronunciation, or phonetical form, sorry, okay? And then you get nous parlons, and then vous parlez, all right? So here, remember the endings, you will have to write them, okay? All right, so we'll take another example. Regarder is to watch, okay? So you can see that the verb is ending with er, okay? So you just take this er away, and then you keep this radical form, like we say in French, only this form, okay? So you will get je regarde, tu regardes, il regarde, elle regarde, nous regardons, vous regardez, il regarde, elle regarde. Okay, so one more time here. Regarde, 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 and then regarde. So phonetically, only one form here. And then regardons, regarder. Alright? Remember that even if this beautiful verb aller, that we tend to use quite often because it means to go, okay, even if it ends with er, it is not regular. In this lesson we will count together, yeah, so from 20 to 50, de 20 à 50. I hope you're ready because it's starting right now. 20, 21, okay, so remember to make this little link, 21, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25, 25, 26, 26, so remember it's ending with X, but then we pronounce it S, 26, 27, remember set, it was this P, disappear, you don't pronounce it, 27, 28, so here you make the liaison, 28, 28, 29, 29, 29, then here remember this en, 30, 30, 30, okay, don't insist on the it doesn't exist here, 30, 31, 31, 31, 32, 32, 33, 33, remember final S doesn't exist, 33, 34, 34, 34, remember in French the rule is that if you start with, well, if you get this combination Q, U, A, well, you will pronounce it K, K. Same thing for the other vowels, okay, so because that's the rule, after Q, normally we put U and then another vowel, but then this U, well, basically it's not pronounced, okay, so K, 4, 34, 35, 35, 36, 36, 37, 37, 38, 38, 39, 39, 40. Okay, so same rule as previously, as for 4, okay? 40, 40, okay? 41, 41, 42, 42, 43, 43, 44, 44, 45, 45, 46, 46, 47, 47, 48, 48, 49, 49, 50, 50. Same thing here, okay, remember that you get this QU, but then you don't pronounce the U, and then you get the nasal, un, and then en, 50, 50, okay? We'll discover together le verbe venir. Venir means to come, okay, to come, so it's quite useful, and then you will have to use it quite often in French. So let's see how you conjugate this verb at the present form, okay, because this verb is not regular, just wanted to tell you first, okay? So, the first form is je viens. Je viens. Okay, remember this I, y, viens, viens, and then this nasal. Final S not pronounced. Je viens. Tu viens. So it's the same form, okay? Tu viens. Il, elle, vient. Final T not pronounced. Il vient, elle vient. So if we take 1 second just to have a look at the je, tu, il, elle forms, they are phonetically the same. Viens, vient, vient. Okay? You write the S, S, T, but then you pronounce these forms the same way. Okay? For nous, it will be different because nous is here. Nous venons. Okay? O-N-S, classical ending for nous. Okay? Final S not pronounced. So O-N, on, venons, venons. Nous venons. Nous venons. Okay? And then vous venez. Remember a Z combined like that? Et venez, venez. Vous venez. Okay? And then the last form. So remember here, it's quite interesting because we've got this E vowel here, and then we've got a double N after. Okay? And the rule in French is that when you get this E and a double vowel after, you will have to pronounce this E like E. Alright? So, vienne, 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 vienne. Okay? Ils viennent, elles viennent. Ils viennent, elles viennent. Alright? E and T, you don't pronounce them. Ils viennent, elles viennent. Alright? So, je viens, tu viens, il vient, elle vient, nous venons, vous venez, ils viennent, elles viennent. Alright? This lesson will work on vocabulary and then the vocabulary connected to la famille, so the family, la famille. And then we'll start with the grandparents. Les grands-parents. Les grands-parents. Remember, you don't pronounce this final S. Here, grands-parents, okay? So, le grand-père, grandfather, le grand-père, remember, E accent grave like that, it's this opened père, le grand-père, le grand-père. And then the feminine form, grandmother, la grand-mère, la grand-mère, okay? So, les grands-parents, le grand-père, la grand-mère. Okay? So, let's see now the parents. Les parents. Les parents. Le père. The father. Le père. La mère. The mother. La mère. Okay? So, les parents. The parents. Le père. La mère. Alright? So, till now, I think that it's not really difficult to remember, okay? Let's see now. Les enfants, okay? So first, I don't make the liaison. Les enfants, just for you to see that we get this en, and then we get this en as well. Same pronunciation here. Enfant. Don't pronounce the T, you don't pronounce the S. Enfant. Okay, and now we can focus on the liaison here. So you should make the little link. Les enfants. Les enfants. Okay, enfants, children. Les enfants, the children. So let's see. It will be the masculine form, so the son, okay? So it's le, and then even if you get this L, well, basically you don't pronounce it, and then strangely you pronounce the final S. Le fils. Le fils, le fils, le fils. And then the feminine form, the daughter, la fille. Yeah. Okay, so this L here and E will give you the sound Y. La fille, la fille. Okay, so make the difference between the masculine form, le fils, and then the feminine form, la fille. Okay, so les enfants, le fils, la fille. Okay? And then the grandchildren, but then in French we use the petit. Petit is like small, okay? So les petits enfants. Make this liaison here. Petits-enfants, okay? Les petits enfants. Les petits enfants. So grandson would be in French petit-fils, okay? So le petit-fils. Le petit-fils. And then the feminine form, la petite. So I insist because here it's t. Okay, so really you need to make the difference between the masculine form petit and then the feminine form petite. Okay, so la petite fille. La petite fille. So let's repeat them. Les petits enfants, le petit-fils, la petite fille. Okay? And then, when you're talking about your in-law family, well, in French we use this beau and belle, so it's beautiful, okay? So, the beautiful family, you're talking about your in-laws, okay? So, la belle famille. La belle famille. Remember, I. La belle famille, okay? So, père, okay, father, so father-in-law, okay, in French it's le beau-père, the beautiful father. Le beau-père. So remember this a, u combination of vowels only give you the sound o, beau, okay? Le beau-père. Mother-in-law, la belle-mère, la belle-mère, la belle-mère, okay, so let's see them one more time. La belle-famille, le beau-père, la belle-mère, alright? And then brother-in-law, le beau-frère, le beau-frère, le beau-frère, so frère is brother, okay? And then feminine form, here you get sœur, okay? So sister-in-law, la belle, so we put the belle form here because it's the feminine form, sœur, la belle-sœur, la belle-sœur. And in this lesson we'll discover the questions in which you will find qui, que, or then quoi, okay? So let's discover now qui, okay? Qui means who. Okay, so if you want to ask a question regarding someone, like in these two examples, so the first one, who is he? Qui est-il? Okay, so remember the normal way when we start a question with qui, or then as we saw in the previous lessons, okay, you will have to change the order and to put your subject, il, he, here, after the verb. Qui est-il? And then you make the liaison. Qui est-il? Who is he? Qui est-il? Qui est-il? Or then, let's see a little example here. Qui vient? Vient is venir. Vient is venir, yeah, is to come, sorry. So, qui vient? Who is coming? Avec toi, with you. Ce soir, this evening. Qui vient avec toi ce soir? So he's coming with you this evening. Qui vient avec toi ce soir? Okay? If you pronounce them normally, remember that you will have to raise your voice a little bit at the end of the question, so let's pronounce them the normal way. Qui est-il? Qui vient avec toi ce soir? Qui vient avec toi ce soir? Okay? Second one is que. So, qui, who, que, what. What, okay? And then we'll see two examples here. Que fais-tu? Okay? Fais is coming from faire. Faire means to do. Okay? Que fais-tu? So, what are you doing? What do you do? Okay? Que fais-tu? Same thing here, remember, que. So you start a question with que, then you get to change the order. You get to put the subject after the verb, okay? Que fais-tu? and it's a question. Que fais-tu? Que fais-tu? Okay, and here, que veux-tu? So veux is coming from vouloir, vouloir to want. Que veux-tu? What do you want? Okay, que veux-tu? Regarder, regarder is to watch. À la télévision, well, at the television. Que veux-tu regarder à la télévision? So let's read it normally now. Que veux-tu regarder à la télévision? Que veux-tu regarder à la télévision? Okay, so you can hear that I've been raising a little bit my voice at the end. And then the other option is quoi. So quoi means what as well. So you will tell me, oh, you get two what here, you get que and quoi. Yeah, for a good reason. Look at that. Well, tu fais quoi? So I've been just taking the same question as we had here. This que fais-tu? What do you do? What are you doing? Okay, but then if you're using this quoi, then it does mean that you don't start the question with it. You just put it here, for example, at the end. Okay, tu fais quoi? It is exactly the same meaning as this question, okay, but then you can see that you just keep the normal order of the sentence, subject, verb. Okay, in that case, you definitely need to raise your voice at the end. Okay, tu fais quoi? Tu fais quoi? And then I took the same example as we had here. Okay, tu veux regarder quoi à la télévision? Okay, so let's raise the voice at the end to make it clear that it's a question. Tu veux regarder quoi à la télévision? Tu veux regarder quoi à la télévision? Okay, so let's repeat. Qui, who, qui est-il? Qui vient avec toi ce soir? Que, what? But you start the question with it. Que fais-tu? Que veux-tu regarder à la télévision? And then quoi? You don't start the question and it means what? Tu fais quoi? Tu veux regarder quoi à la télévision? In this lesson, we'll just focus on the short thing but quite useful, les présentations. Okay, so the first thing when you meet someone and you want to know the name of this person, well, that's the common question or the normal question that you will have to use. Comment, so how, vous appelez-vous? Okay, we've been seeing in Unit 1, if my memory is correct, the verb s'appeler, so to call oneself. Okay, when you introduce yourself, you use this s'appeler verb. Okay, so that's the reason why it will look this way. Comment vous appelez-vous? Okay, so comment vous appelez-vous? So what's your name? How are you calling yourself? If you want a direct translation, but it sounds a bit strange in English, but then that's the question. Comment vous appelez-vous? Alright. The other possibility that we've got is to keep the normal order. So vous vous appelez, and then we put this comment thing at the end of the question. Okay, so in that case, remember to raise your voice at the end. Vous vous appelez comment? Vous vous appelez comment? Okay, so it is exactly the same question. Okay, it is a bit less formal, this second option. Okay, because the first one is the classic option that we've got. We start with how, and then we change the order. We put the subject after the verb, okay? But then it is, completely correct to ask a question like that. Vous vous appelez comment, okay? And then the other possibility would be, quel est votre nom? What is votre nom? Name. What is your name? Quel est votre nom? Quel est votre nom? Raise a little bit. Quel est votre nom? Okay, so let's see them one more time. Comment vous appelez-vous? Vous vous appelez comment? Quel est votre nom? Alright. In the first example, we've been using this vous form, so the polite form that normally we should use when we meet a person for the first time, okay? But then let's be frank, that if you're young and if you're meeting other young persons, then you can use this tu form, so the less formal way, okay? So the question, will look like that. Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Okay, or then same option that we've got. Tu t'appelles comment? So you put this comment at the end. Okay, don't forget to raise your voice because it's a beautiful question here. Tu t'appelles comment? Tu t'appelles comment? And then, quel est ton nom? What is your name? Quel est ton nom? Or other options. So I've been putting this option for this tu, okay, you, the less formal one, and not for the vous, because it is quite spoken this way. C'est quoi ton nom? Well, if you want to translate it directly, it's what's your name, okay? It looks really, or it sounds really strange in English, but still it's possible in French. It is not formal at all, of course, okay? So don't use that if it's quite important or if the situation is quite formal, okay? C'est quoi ton nom? C'est quoi ton nom? Okay, and then if you want to, well, present yourself, then remember we're using this appeler, s'appeler, okay, to call oneself, okay. Je m'appelle Vincent Lefrançois. Je m'appelle Vincent Lefrançois. Okay, I call myself Vincent Lefrançois, alright? But then that's the way we use to present ourselves. Okay. Other option would be to use, not to use this s'appeler to call oneself, but to use to be, which is totally possible. Je suis Vincent Lefrançois. Je suis Vincent Lefrançois. I am, okay. Je suis Vincent Lefrançois. And then, third option, mon nom, my name, okay. Mon nom est Vincent Lefrançois. Mon nom est Vincent Lefrançois. Okay, so let's see them one more time. Je m'appelle Vincent Lefrançois. Je suis Vincent Lefrançois. Mon nom est Vincent Lefrançois. This lesson, we'll see how to conjugate the verbs ending with er. So not all the er verbs are belonging to the second group, but some of them, and then we'll see how to conjugate them at the present form. Okay, so we'll take an example. The example is finir. So finir means to finish. Okay, and then you can see that it's ending with er. Alright, so we'll do it like that. We'll divide it in two, so F-E-N, and then we take away this er ending. Alright, and we'll just keep this form here, F-E-N, to construct the present. So you take it and you put it here, and after that you will add this ending. So for je, it will be es. Je finis. Remember, final S is not pronounced. Je finis. Okay? Tu finis. So es as well, like we had for je. So same way to pronounce it as well. You don't pronounce the final S. Tu finis. Il, elle finit. So I-T, final T not pronounced. Il, elle finit. So, je finis, tu finis, il finit. Phonetically, it's exactly the same form for these persons. Okay, so it's quite good if you want only to talk and not to write. So just focus on this fini form. You know that it's for je, tu, and il, elle. Okay, but then for nous, so have a look. Nous finissons. Okay, I-S-S-O-N-S. Ils sont. Nous finissons. Finissons. Okay, final S not pronounced. Nous finissons. Vous finissez. Vous finissez. Okay, a Z at the end gives you the sound E. Okay, finissez, finissez. Vous finissez. Ils finissent. So remember, as usual, when we get the verbs E and T not pronounced. Ils finissent. Elles finissent. Alright, so let's see them one more time. Je finis. Tu finis, il finit, elle finit, nous finissons, vous finissez, ils finissent, elles finissent. Alright? Let's take another example. Unir to unite. Okay? Same rule. We just keep this un and then you spot the ending, you take it away, and you will keep the un to construct. So, j'unis, same way. Tu unis, il unit, elle unit. Nous unissons, vous unissez, ils unissent, elles unissent. Okay, so it's the same, exactly the same. So, same group, same way to conjugate it. Okay, let's take choisir, third example. You spot it, ending with er here. Choisir means to choose. Okay, then same way. Je choisis, tu choisis, il choisit, elle choisit. Nous choisissons, vous choisissez, ils choisissent, elles choisissent.